Hello, this is the Devil Fruit Collector, and welcome to a new video on the One Piece card game. Today, I'll be going over the last two starter decks, STO1, the Straw Hat Crew, and STO4, the Animal Kingdom Pirates. However, first, I would like to give a big thanks to everyone who watched my last video on the structure deck for the 7 Warlords. 25 views in 23 hours is absolutely astounding if you look at every other video on my channel right now. This made me so happy when I last checked it. I just give it big thanks to everyone. It may seem little to other channels, but to me, seeing with 7 subscribers and most of my videos getting under 5 or under 10, really, it means a lot. Thank you very much. All right, let's hop into the starter decks now. First off, I'm just gonna blaze through these because we've played the tutorial app. Go check out that video because no one has. So go check that out, please. Get views aside. First off, Luffy here, 5,000 power, 5 life. He has a effect he can activate once per turn. You can give this leader or one other character's one rested Don card. That's a great ability. It's very versatile. Off the top of my head, I mean, everything else seems pretty locked into whatever strategy you hold. So, I mean, this, if you just have a starting play, I mean, you start your first turn, if you're going second or something like that, you rest one of your cards. I mean, rest both of them, really. Put a cost 2 on, has 4,000 power, use its effect, put 1 equipped to it. Bam, you got 2,000 units. You can try to swing into the opponent's leader if they also have 5,000 life. Let's say you're just playing, this structured deck against the Kaido one, or the Beast Pirates one, rather. And you can mill them for their counter cards or get 2 life off of them. I mean, that's pretty useful in my opinion. Assuming your character that you summon that turn has Rush or for some other reason doesn't have Summoning Sickness. I just remembered that's a thing. Next off, Usopp, cost 2, power 2,000. If it has 2 equipped when attacking, your opponent cannot activate blocker characters that have 5,000 or more power during this battle. It's a pretty, pretty circumstantial, so I don't see I don't see how much versatility this will have. I think that's a good choice of word there. Has a trigger of playing this card. Pretty normal. Counter of 1,000. Next one is Karu. It's your cost 1, 3,000 power for this deck. Counter of 1,000. It's one of those cards you're just going to keep in your hand, or if you really need a unit on the field, put it on the field. That's about that. Next off, Sanji. 2 power. No, sorry, not 2 power. That'd be absolutely horrible. 2 cost, 4,000 power. No counter. If it has 2 equipped, it gains Rush. There you go. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. Play that Sanji card. It has Rush. Then equip it. Well, it has to have 2 equipped. I didn't quite think about that. So you have to have like 4 on the field for this to be useful. Maybe not the greatest, but it's getting there. It's good for a starter deck. Cost 3, 5,000 power. Jinbei here. We've gone over him a lot over the tutorial videos. If it has 1 equipped, when attacking, your leader or one character of your choice gains 1,000 power. Okay. Next off, we have Chopper. He is your cost 1, 1,000 power blocker. Same like that Law and the Beiji. In this, I'm pretty sure. Let's see who is in here. Did I have one? What? It's not Jim Rummy, is it? No. Oh. Black Maria? No? Okay. I don't know who it is. Interesting. Maybe they're a bit different for this one. We'll have to look at that later. But yeah, pretty normal per starter deck. Nami, cost 1, 1,000 power. You're mainly going to be having this for the counter effect, I believe, here of counter 1,000. Activate main once per turn. You give 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. So same effect that the Luffy has, but I don't see why you would want this on your field when you can have other characters. I know you can just trash it to play something else, but it seems kind of a waste when you could just use it as a counter. I guess if you really need Dawn cards on someone. Nico Robin, you cost 3, 5,000 power. Pretty decent. It's just a monster you're going to play, and they're going to try to get off your field because it's 5,000 power and you're playing against the starter decks. Counter of 1,000, pretty useful. Vivi. It was Nefeltari, okay. Pretty interesting translation error, I believe. I mean, that might just be how the translation is. I know how how weird things can be. Two cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter. You know, it's the same thing. You're gonna place if you're desperate for characters in the field to get rid of life, or just keep it in your hand for counter. Next, Frankie, cost 4, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter. He's just gonna be a big beat stick. Next off, Brooke, cost 2, power 3,000. On play, give up 2 Arrested Dawn cards to your leader or one of your characters. That's pretty useful. That's something you can use in late game though when you have a lot of Arrested Dawn cards. So pretty useful there. Next, Luffy, cost 5, power 6,000. He has Rush, okay. If you have 2 equipped, when attacking, your opponent can activate blockers during the battle. That's pretty useful. If you're striking in for your last life card there, that's pretty useful. Just play this. Next off, Zoro, costs 3, 5,000 power. If you give him 1, he gains about that 1,000 power. So you give him 1 Dawn card, he goes up to a 7,000. That's pretty useful just for striking into your opponent's leader. First event card, Guard Point. 1 cost, your leader or one of your characters gains 3,000 power during this battle. Trigger is that your leader or one of your characters gains 1,000 power during this turn. Okay, that's pretty cool. Next, Gum Gum Jet Pistol, cost 4. It's him punching a Pacifista here. Pretty cool. Main, KO one of your opponent's characters with 6,000 power or less. That's pretty useful, I would say. That's pretty versatile. Trigger, activate this card's main effect. So this is another thing, another case where if you could choose your life cards, this would be like number 1. Like, honestly, I would love playing this. Next off is Diablo Jambe. Cost 1, and then main, select one of your Straw Hat 2 type leader or character cards. Your opponent cannot activate blocker if that leader or character attacks during this turn. And trigger, KO one of your opponent's blocker characters with a cost of 3 or less. Okay. That's pretty useful. Then, this is a stage card. So I don't believe the other 2 decks that we've looked at have these. So I'm pretty sure this one and the Beast Pirates are the only ones that have a stage card here. 2 costs to put on the field. Activate main, you may rest the stage, and then Straw Hat Crew type character or leader cards in the field gain 1,000 power during this turn. Okay, I think the way this deck is going to be running, I'm pretty sure this is the last card in the deck. Yep, is just using the different characters' effects just to boost up raw power. There's no actual gimmick here with Dawn cards. It's just make big characters and attack in, which is pretty cool. It's a good way to get counter cards out of your opponent's hands really easily. Okay, next off, let's look at the Beast Pirates. Or is it? Oh, it's the Animal Kingdom Pirates? Oh. I've been calling them the Beast Pirates this entire time. Who are the Beast Pirates? One Piece Beast Pirates. Images. Okay, they are the Beast Pirates. They're just also called the Animal Kingdom Pirates. Okay. And that's just the way they're calling him here. Okay. He's a your normal 5 life, 5,000 power leader here with the color purple. His effect, activate main once per turn. You can return 7 Dawn cards from your field to the Dawn deck and trash one of your opponent's life cards. Wow. Wow. So instead of trying to go around life, I mean, it got to get rid of 7 Dawn cards. So that immediately, I am not a big fan of that immediately. But honestly, from my experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! And the such, you never know what's going to be really good until you've actually played with it. Next off, Ulti. 4 cost, 5,000 power. Pretty good, just put it on the field. On play, you can turn 1 Dawn card to the Dawn deck. Play 1 page 1 card with a cost of 4 less from your hand. The fact it's from your hand and it's an on play, the effect immediately drives me away. It's counter 2,000, so you're going to be playing this card. I also need to see how good page 1 is, if it's just a effectless character, like Sentomaru was with the Pacifistas. But otherwise, I mean, this is going to be a big beat stick and nothing much else unless you're playing 4 ultis and 4 page ones and you get really lucky. Next off, Kaido is our first cost card that's over 7, I believe. I'm not going to fact check myself because I don't want to right now. Cost 9, 10,000 power, absolutely strong card. On play, Dawn -5, KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 6 or less. That's essentially everyone. There's not very many cards that have a cost of above 6. So, this character gains Rush during this turn. Okay. It's pretty useful. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to get this card out because what I've been noticing is this deck likes to remove Dawn cards. So unless they have a way to get Don cards back to the field, with another event card or something like that, I don't know how this deck's gonna flow. That's just how I feel. Next is King. Cost 6, power 7,000. Okay. On play, Don -1. KO one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 4 or less. Okay, so I see this is, you get big guys out that are really expensive, but you also have very powerful effects by sacrificing Don cards. Pretty interesting. He didn't have a counter, did he? Oh, go back. No counter. Another did counter, did he? Nope, okay. Yeah. Pretty decent card. Next up, Queen. Cost of 5, power 6,000. Counter of 1,000. That's pretty. Ulti did have a counter of 2,000, which is pretty good. He's a blocker with a 6,000 power. That's a pretty good blocker. On play, you get -1. -1 Don card. Draw 2 and trash 1. Okay. If anyone who's here is a Yu-Gi-Oh player and Graceful Charity, it's kind of like a mini Graceful Charity. Next off, Sasaki. Cost 3, power 4,000. Counter of 1,000. Okay. On play, -1. You can draw 1 card. Okay. I could see this card being played out for, actually. Pretty decent. Okay. Pretty decent power for a cost 3. I mean, it's kind of low on the low end, I suppose, because the Straw Hat deck has Zoro and Robin that are 5,000 power, I believe, just for the cost of 3. Yep, right here and here, and I believe Jinbei is as well. Okay, so you're really gonna be using him for your draw 1, which is it's a -1 Don. So pretty interesting. Next, Sheepshead. Cost 2, power 4,000. This is what I mean, when it's a cost 3, power 4,000. It definitely take into point, the effect here for when accounting for the cost and light on power. Counter of 1,000. Pretty decent card, honestly. I mean, if you're just gonna get it out for 2, I mean, on your first turn, you can put him out for 4,000. Next, Jack. Cost of 3, power of 4,000. So I'm hoping he has a good effect here. Counter of 1. Not 1,000. On play effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand, add 1 card from your Don deck instead it's active. Okay. This is one of those cards I've been looking for where you can actually get cards from your Don deck. This one does a discard one. That's pretty unfortunate. I'm coming from a game where I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan, where I know how much card advantage in your hand matters. So I haven't played too many rounds of this with anyone, actually. I haven't played with anyone. I have looked at the cards, though, and played the tutorial against that one AI. So I don't know how much card advantage is going to matter here, because how much you're discarding for counters and all that. So that would be pretty interesting to trash 1. Next is Jim Rummy. Cost 1, 3,000. You're going to be using this for the counter effect. I'm just going to break it to you. You're just going to be using this for the counter effect. If you're going to attack with anything, this has Summoning Sickness, so it's not only are you just gonna be able to do this on turn 1, or if you're going second, turn 1. Sorry for the pen there. You're not even gonna be able to do it for first turn. Has Summoning Sickness. There's no use in summoning this card right away, unless you just want to get yourself killed, because no one's gonna be attacking over this character. It's not gonna have any purpose unless your opponent has a leader of 3,000 or 2,000, something like that. It'd be just. I don't see the purpose in running this. Who's Who? Cost 3, power of 3,000. I hope this effect is amazing. There's no counter. On play, get -1. Okay. KO one of your opponent's characters, cost of 3 or less. It's so much. It's so much. Just to do that. You're essentially needing to. Okay. So you can tap 3 and then send 1 back. So, I mean, I guess it's not the worst, but it's a lot just for a cost of 3 less. How many people are going to be really keeping a lot of cards on the field with a cost of 3 or less all the time? Unless you're going up specifically against this deck right here, where people are just summoning Zoro and Robin. And at that point, they're probably going to have multiples, so it's not even help that much. Trigger, play this card. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Black Mirror, cost 2, 2,000 power, counter 1,000. It's a blocker. They just took Beiji, Chopper, and Law from their decks and made it more expensive and gave it 1 extra 1,000 power and a counter. So I guess the counter helps. That's about it. Here we go. Page 1. Cost 4, power 6,000, counter of 1,000. So yeah, it's essentially, if I remember correctly, I actually get rid of the page with the Straw Hat Crew here. If we look at the 7 Warlords deck, I believe it may just be a reskinned Pacifista. Yep. You know, card for card. Except for the attribute here. I haven't really discussed that much. I don't know what it means, really. But yeah, essentially card for card, it is the same thing as the Pacifista. And I wonder if Santo Amaro has the same stats as Ulti. 3, 4... No, okay. Ulti's a bit more powerful, a bit more expensive, though. Also, Ulti has a better counter. Okay, so Ulti's just better than Santo Amaro. So if you're playing a card that has... if you're playing a deck that can run purple and blue, just run Ulti over Santo Amaro. Along with page 1. Okay. Next card. DSX Drake. Note he does have Navy, Drake Pirates, and Animal Kingdom Pirates. Cost 3, power 5,000. Just like same thing as like, you know, a Robin from the Straw Hat Crew deck. Pull it up here. Yep, same thing essentially. 1,000 counter. Yep. Essentially the same thing as Robin here. All right, pretty standard. Lead Performer Disaster. Okay, cost 4, draw 1, add 1 from your Don deck instead as active. Wow, wow, that is a lot. Okay, it's not you're tapping 4, but that's a +1 in cards. So, I mean, you're drawing 1 and adding a Don card as active too. That is something to note. Okay, trigger, and then your trigger is activating the main effect. That is amazing. Brachio Bomber, 6 cost. Main, KO one of your opponents at the cost of 6 or less and add 1 Don card from your set as active. Oh my lord. The trigger is add 1 Don card and add set as active. Holy lord. Cost 1 Borrow Breath or Blast Breath. I just know it by the name. To counter, Don -1. Okay. Your leader or one of your characters gains +4,000 during this battle. Okay. Pretty interesting. Next is Onigashima Island. Cost 3. Activate main, rest the stage. If your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirate type, add 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. Wow. So you get to add 3 every turn as long as you have Kaido as your leader or something like that. That is amazing. This is the best card in the deck. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's both these decks. In my opinion, they're both amazing decks. All 4 of the starter decks are. I think the One Piece card game is going to have a very strong lead with all 4 of these decks. Yeah, I think that's about everything I have to say. Thank you very much for being here. Leave a like, subscribe, and thank you for watching the video. Goodbye.